When life pushes you down to your knees and the world turns its back on your pain, remember this. Your pain is not a punishment. It is your hidden power waiting to rise inside you. Every great soul, every legend, every leader you admire once stood in the same darkness you stand in. Now they cried, they broke, they fell, but they did not stay there. They looked within and found a fire burning under the ashes. Napoleon Hill said, "Every adversity carries the seed of an equal or greater benefit. That seed grows only through the flames of hardship." Rejection and loss pain is the greatest teacher when you stop running from it, because in the moment you face it, something inside you awakens something powerful, something unbreakable. This is the forgotten lesson, the secret that turns pain into unstoppable power. Pain is a strange teacher. It arrives uninvited, and yet it becomes the most powerful force that shapes the soul when everything seems to fall apart and you feel like there is no reason left to keep moving forward. That is the moment when life begins to test your true strength, the moments that break. You are not meant to destroy you. They are designed to rebuild you into something stronger than before. Napoleon Hill understood that pain is not a curse, it is a call to awaken the sleeping power within you. Every time you face a challenge, the universe is handing you a lesson wrapped in difficulty. Every loss carries a message. Every disappointment holds wisdom, and every failure hides an opportunity that comfort could never give you. People search their whole lives for happiness, but happiness is fragile. It fades with time. Pain, on the other hand, is solid. It stays long enough to teach you what joy could never explain. It teaches patience, it teaches faith, it teaches gratitude when the world seems dark and unfair. Pain becomes your mirror, showing you who you really are. Strips away illusions. It breaks the false layers of ego and pride until you are left only with truth. And truth is always powerful. You see, when you have suffered deeply, you no longer fear the storm because you have already walked through fire and survived. You have discovered the secret strength that lies beneath the surface, the strength that only awakens through struggle and hardship. Napoleon Hill called it the seed of benefit, hidden in every adversity. But that seed does not grow in comfort. It grows in pressure. It grows in pain. It grows in moments where you think you cannot take another step, and yet you do. Every tear you shed becomes water. For that seed, every sleepless night becomes the soil that nourishes your courage. Every heartbreak becomes the fire that forges your purpose. The gift hidden in suffering is that it connects you to your higher self. It removes distractions and forces you to listen to your inner voice, the one that says, keep going, even when everything around you tells you to stop, the one that whispers you are not finished. Yet there is more within you. Then you can see when you walk through pain with awareness, you realize that nothing in life is wasted, not a single tear, not a single failure. Every moment of suffering is an invitation to grow beyond your limits, to evolve beyond your fears, to awaken a version of yourself that only pain could create. And once you begin to see pain as a teacher instead of an enemy, the world starts to change before your eyes, because now every difficulty becomes a lesson, every obstacle becomes a doorway, and every fall becomes a rise toward your destiny. Pain gives you two roads, one that leads to destruction and one that leads to transformation. When you are broken and exhausted, when you have nothing left but the ache inside your chest, that is the point where destiny begins to whisper. The turning point is not found in success. It is born in suffering, because pain gives you a choice to stay where you are or to rise above everything that tried to end you. Most people surrender to pain. They drown in self-pity and call it fate. But the truth is, pain is not here to end you. It is here to awaken you. Every challenge, every rejection, every heartbreak is the universe asking, how bad do you want the life you dream of? How far are you willing to go for your own growth? Napoleon Hill taught that every defeat carries within it the seed of future success, but that seed cannot grow in the soil of complaint. It grows only in the heart that refuses to quit. When you choose to grow through pain, something within you begins to shift your thoughts, change your focus, sharpens your energy, realigns with purpose. You begin to realize that life was never about avoiding pain. It was about mastering it, transforming it, and using it as the fuel that drives you forward. The world around you may see only your struggle, But inside your spirit, something magnificent is forming, a quiet determination that says, no matter how hard it gets, I will not surrender because my story is not over. Yet you begin to replace fear with faith and doubt with direction. You start to understand that growth hurts because you are shedding old versions of yourself, the ones built on fear, insecurity, and limitation. Pain tears them apart so that the real you can emerge stronger, clearer, and unshakable. The turning point is not dramatic. It happens in silence, in the lonely hours, when you decide to keep fighting for yourself. It happens when you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what can I learn from this pain? The answer will come softly. It will say you can become more than you were yesterday. You can rise higher than your pain. You can turn this wound into wisdom and this struggle into strength. The moment you stop running from pain and start facing it, head on, you begin to see that everything you have ever lost is guiding you to something greater, because life is not meant to be easy. It is meant to be meaningful. Every scar you carry becomes a reminder that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You start to realize that pain is not the enemy. It is the sculptor shaping the masterpiece within you. It is carving patience, resilience, and wisdom into your soul so that when the storm is over, you stand not as a victim of life, but as a student of it. And that choice, that moment where you turn from weakness to strength, from pity to purpose, from pain to power, that is the turning point that changes everything. Every emotion you feel carries a form of energy so powerful that it can either destroy you or build the version of you that nothing in this world can break. Napoleon Hill discovered that human emotion, when directed with purpose, can transform into pure creative force. Anger, fear, heartbreak, frustration. All of them are raw energy, waiting to be shaped by your mind, yet most people waste this gift. They let emotions control their thoughts instead of learning how to guide that power towards something meaningful. The truth is, emotion itself is not the enemy, it is a messenger, telling you what matters most. When you learn to listen to it and master it, instead of suppressing it, you become unstoppable. When you feel anger burning inside, it is the fire of desire that has lost direction. When you feel sadness weighing down your heart, it is the reminder that something within you still cares deeply, that you still have love to give. When you feel fear trembling in your chest, it is a signal that you are standing at the edge of growth, waiting to take a step forward. Transmutation means to take that raw energy and transform it into purpose, to take pain and turn it into progress, to take suffering and turn it into strength. When your heart aches with loss, you can drown in it, or you can pour that emotion into your dream, into your craft, into your mission, and watch it build something magnificent. Napoleon Hill said that the greatest power in the world lies in the ability to control and redirect emotion. The greatest inventors, leaders, and creators all learned to transform their inner chaos into clarity. They felt pain just like you do, but instead of running, they turned their pain into purpose. They allowed emotion to feed their imagination, and their imagination turned into action, and that action became history. Every time you channel emotion toward creation, you are practicing transmutation. You are rewriting the purpose of your pain and giving it meaning. The energy of sorrow can be shaped into compassion. The energy of anger can become determination. The energy of fear can become preparation and courage. Emotion is the purest form of human energy because it comes straight from the soul. It is not logic. It is not calculation. It is life moving through you. When you learn to master it, you no longer react to pain. You respond with purpose. This mastery gives birth to emotional alchemy, the ability to turn dark feelings into light, the ability to transform loss into inspiration and heartbreak into drive. It does not mean you stop feeling. It means you start using feeling as your weapon, as your compass, as your source of power. When life hits you with pain again, you will not break. You will channel it. You will turn that energy inward until it becomes your fuel to rise higher. You will realize that emotion is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form, because only those who feel deeply can create deeply, and only those who have walked through darkness can truly bring light into the world. Faith is the invisible thread that holds your soul together when everything around you begins to fall apart. It is a silent power that stands behind every miracle and every victory when nothing in your life makes sense, when pain becomes heavy and the road ahead looks endless. Faith is the force that whispers keep going, even when logic says there is no reason to. Napoleon Hill believed that faith is the foundation of all success because it gives life to thought, and thought gives birth to reality. Faith begins where sight ends, when you can no longer see a way forward, but still move forward. That is faith when you feel forgotten, but still believe you are being guided. That is faith. It is not blind hope. It is the inner knowing that something within you is greater than everything around you. Pain becomes power only when faith gives it meaning, because faith transforms suffering into strength and confusion into clarity. When you choose to believe in the unseen, you activate a force that begins to work through you and around you, shaping events, guiding people, and aligning moments. In ways you cannot yet understand, faith does not erase the storm, but it gives you the courage to walk through it with your head held high. Every great dream ever achieved was carried by faith first, before it became visible. It lived in the heart of someone who refused to give up, even when there was no proof that it would work. Faith is the power that allows you to keep planting seeds, even when the soil looks barren, because you trust that growth is happening beneath the surface, even when you cannot see it. When pain hits hardest, faith whispers there is purpose in this. When life closes doors, faith says this is not rejection, it is redirection. Faith is what keeps your soul alive when your mind begins to doubt. It is what gives strength to your words and light to your actions. It transforms the way you see your journey. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening?" you begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" And that question changes everything. You begin to see that faith and pain are not enemies. They are partners. Pain tests your faith, and faith gives your pain meaning together. Shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more grounded. Faith builds resilience because it teaches you to trust timing and surrender control. It reminds you that the process is not punishment. It is preparation. When you walk with faith, you stop chasing validation. You stop comparing your journey to others because you know your path is uniquely designed for your growth. Faith does not mean you will not fall. It means when you fall, you will rise again with a deeper understanding and a stronger spirit. Faith is quiet, yet powerful. It does not shout. It moves mountains in silence. It makes you unshakable in chaos and fearless in uncertainty. It is the energy that connects you to something beyond fear, beyond pain, beyond doubt. And in that connection, you discover your truest self, the self that cannot be broken by circumstances, the self that keeps walking even when the path disappears beneath your feet. Persistence is the heartbeat of every dream that refuses to die. It is the silent promise you make to yourself when the world turns its back on you. It is the strength to take one more step when your legs shake and your soul feels tired. Napoleon Hill discovered through years of study that persistence is the one trait that separates those who succeed from those who surrender. When everything falls apart and you feel the weight of failure pressing against your chest, persistence is the voice that says, keep moving, even when no one is watching, even when no one believes in you. Persistence is not about talent. It is not about luck. It is about consistency. It is the decision to rise every time you fall. It is the courage to begin again. After every rejection, every mistake, every loss, life will test you again and again to see how badly you want what you claim to desire. The universe will place obstacles in your path, not to stop you, but to strengthen you. Every no, every delay, every disappointment is shaping your endurance, sharpening your will, building your foundation, because dreams built on persistence do not crumble under pressure. They rise from it. Every successful person Napoleon Hill studied had moments of defeat, moments when giving up seemed easier, yet they persisted because they understood that persistence turns temporary pain into permanent power. Persistence teaches you patience. It builds faith. It turns weakness into habit, and habit into mastery, when you commit to showing up every day, even when you are not inspired, even when you are uncertain, even when you are afraid, you are planting seeds of greatness inside yourself. The process may be slow, but persistence ensures that the seed eventually breaks through the soil and reaches the light. Persistence is the bridge between intention and manifestation. Without it, desire remains a dream, but with it, desire becomes destiny. When you persist long enough, failure becomes irrelevant because it cannot defeat someone who refuses to stop trying. Persistence is not glamorous. It is not loud. It is quiet, work done in silence. It is waking up before dawn when no one else does. It is studying when others are. Sleeping it is believing in your vision when the results have not yet appeared. Persistence requires discipline, and discipline requires purpose. And that purpose is what fuels your strength. When you feel drained, persistence gives you focus. When doubt enters, persistence builds certainty. When fear rises, persistence stands firm because it remembers why you began in the first place. Persistence is faith in motion. It is proof that belief is more than a feeling. It is an action repeated until success has no choice but to surrender. Persistence transforms pain into power because every struggle you overcome strengthens your resolve. It teaches you that you are capable of more than you imagined, that you can rise higher than you thought possible, and that nothing in life can stop a spirit that refuses to quit. Pain without purpose drains your spirit, but pain with purpose ignites your soul. Every great transformation in history was born from struggle. Every person who has ever risen to greatness walked through a season of darkness that shaped them into who they were meant to be. Purpose is the reason behind the pain. It is the meaning that turns every wound into wisdom and every scar into a story that can light the path for others. Napoleon Hill believed that purpose gives direction to power because without direction, even the strongest energy becomes lost. When you discover your reason for existing, everything in your life begins to align. Your pain, your failures, your heartbreaks, they stop being random. They start making sense because purpose transforms suffering into service. It turns self-pity into contribution and hopelessness into hope. The moment you realize that your story can inspire someone else, your pain starts to heal because now it has meaning. Purpose is not found in comfort. It is born in chaos. It comes from the nights you could not sleep and the days you wanted to quit. It rises from the moments you thought you were done, but something within whispered, not yet. There is more within you that needs to come alive. Purpose takes your pain and gives it a voice. It allows you to take everything that hurts you and use it to heal the world around you. Every time you speak your truth, every time you help someone else climb out of the same pit you once fell into, you give purpose to what once broke you. Napoleon Hill said that every person is guided by a definite purpose, a burning desire that pushes them beyond fear, beyond limitation, beyond pain. And when that purpose becomes clear, your suffering transforms into strength because you no longer see yourself as a victim of life. You become a vessel for something greater. Purpose is the compass that keeps you moving when emotions fade. When motivation disappears, when the path is uncertain, it reminds you why you began. It reminds you that the struggle was not meant to stop you. It was meant to shape you into the person capable of carrying your dream. Purpose connects your pain to power. It takes the energy of everything that tried to destroy you and redirects it into creation, into action, into meaning. When you live with purpose, every hardship becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes preparation. Every tear becomes a symbol of resilience, and every failure becomes a step toward destiny. Purpose changes how you see pain. Instead of asking, why is this happening? You begin to ask, how can I use this to grow? How can this make me better? How can this serve others? And that question transforms your reality because now you no longer suffer for nothing. You suffer for something that matters. And in that awareness, pain loses its control. It no longer defines you. It refines you. Purpose takes the ashes of your past and turns them into the foundation of your future. It gives your journey depth. It gives your voice strength. It gives your life meaning. And through that meaning, you begin to rise not as the same person who once broke, but as the one who turned every wound into wisdom and every challenge into change. There is a silent power that lives inside every person, a force that only awakens when life pushes them beyond the edge of their comfort. This power does not come from knowledge or luck. It comes from endurance, from the quiet decision to rise. After every fall, Napoleon Hill understood that human potential expands only when it is tested by pressure, because pressure reveals truth. When life becomes hard, it strips away everything that is fake and leaves only what is real inside you. This seventh key is the awakening of inner strength, the discovery that what you are truly capable of cannot be measured by comfort or success. It is measured by how you respond when everything falls apart. The world will try to convince you that strength means never breaking, but real strength is born in the moments when you do break and still choose to rebuild, when you take the shattered pieces of your life and turn them into something greater than what was before. Every challenge you face is designed to pull something out of you that ease never could. Struggle refines your soul. It polishes your rough edges and exposes the diamond that has always been hidden within. Pain reveals potential because it forces you to dig deeper than you ever thought possible. When you are comfortable, you do not grow. When you are challenged, you evolve. It is through pain that you meet your real self, the self that is fearless, the self that knows its worth, the self that understands that life will not give you what you wish for, it will give you what you fight for. The awakening of inner strength happens slowly. It is built in silence, in the quiet hours when no one sees your effort and no one applauds your persistence. It grows every time you face fear and take one more step forward. It grows when you hold on to faith while walking through uncertainty. It grows when you decide to keep going even when your heart feels heavy. Napoleon Hill believed that strength is not just physical or mental, it is spiritual. It is the alignment of your will with your purpose when your mind says you cannot, and your spirit says you must. That is strength when you are tired, yet you keep moving because your dream matters. That is strength when you have every reason to give up, but you still rise. That is strength. Every great soul has discovered this power, because greatness is not born from ease. It is born from endurance. When you endure, you build character. When you endure, you build wisdom. When you endure, you build legacy. Endurance teaches you patience. It teaches humility. It teaches mastery. It turns pain into discipline and discipline into success. The strongest people are not the ones who never fell. They are the ones who refuse to stay down. They learn to carry their scars as proof of survival, as reminders that they are stronger than the storm that tried to destroy them. Life will always test your endurance, because endurance is the gateway to transformation. Every delay, every hardship, every loss is shaping the person you are meant to become. And with each test, your strength grows deeper, your resolve becomes unbreakable, and your spirit becomes unstoppable. Every dream begins as a vision that lives quietly inside your mind, but the journey from vision to reality demands one thing: imagination, guided by belief. Napoleon Hill often said that whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, yet most people never learn to protect the purity of their imagination. They let doubt, fear, and failure steal the magic that creates progress. Imagination is not fantasy, it is creation in its earliest form. It is the ability to see what does not yet exist, and to hold that vision long enough for it to take shape in the world around you. When you are surrounded by darkness, imagination becomes your light. It allows you to picture a version of yourself that is stronger than your pain and bigger than your fear. When you learn to use imagination as a tool instead of an escape, you begin to transform the way you live. You start to see possibilities where others see problems. You start to design your own destiny instead of waiting for life to hand you one. Pain often clouds your vision. It makes the world look smaller. It convinces you that you are trapped where you are, but imagination breaks those walls. It reminds you that you are never stuck. You are simply standing at the edge of creation. Imagination is the bridge between faith and action. It is the place where ideas are born, where goals are formed, where dreams find direction. Every invention, every masterpiece, every success began as a single image in the mind of someone who refused to let go of their dream. Napoleon Hill taught that the power of imagination is sacred because it allows you to rewrite the story of your life even when reality tells you no. When pain tries to blind you, imagination gives you sight. When fear tries to silence you, imagination gives you voice. When the world doubts you, imagination gives you purpose. It whispers that the future you want already exists within you, and all you need to do is bring it to life. Imagination becomes unstoppable when fueled by faith and persistence, when you believe in your vision so deeply that it feels real. Even before it manifests, the universe begins to rearrange itself to match that vibration, because thoughts are living things. They move, they grow, they attract what they represent. Your imagination creates the blueprint of your future, and your actions build it one step at a time. Pain can inspire imagination because it forces you to think differently, to find new ways to rise, to seek solutions you never considered before. The greatest breakthroughs in life are often born from the darkest seasons, because pain opens the door to creativity. It pushes you to ask, what else is possible? What else can I do? How else can I grow? And the moment you start asking those questions, your mind expands, your vision sharpens, and your spirit strengthens. Imagination is proof that you are connected to something infinite, something greater than your circumstances. When you learn to trust that connection, you begin to realize that no dream is too big and no pain is too strong to stop you, because the mind that imagines can always create a new path, a new story, a new beginning. Imagination transforms pain into possibility. It gives direction to your faith and motion to your persistence, and through that union, it turns every obstacle into an opportunity for creation. Growth is born from reflection. It begins when you look at your life with honesty and ask, what is this moment trying to teach me? Napoleon Hill believed that self-analysis is the master key to transformation, because without understanding yourself, you cannot direct your power. Reflection is not about judgment. It is about awareness. It is standing still long enough to see where you have been, what you have learned, and who you are becoming. Every experience, every heartbreak, every mistake carries a message. And when you take time to listen, you begin to see patterns. You begin to see how your thoughts created your actions and how your actions shaped your destiny. Pain especially has a way of exposing truth. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself you once ignored. It strips away illusions and reveals what truly matters. Reflection turns pain into wisdom because it allows you to extract meaning from suffering. Instead of running from your past, you begin to study it. You learn what made you fall, what kept you down, and what finally helped you rise. Napoleon Hill often said that knowledge is power only when it is organized and directed toward purpose. Reflection organizes your inner world. It helps you align your desires with your habits, your intentions with your effort, your dreams with your discipline. When you reflect, you stop living by accident and start living by design. Pain becomes your greatest teacher because it gives you the contrast you need to understand. Joy, loss, gives you appreciation. Failure gives you humility. Rejection gives you redirection. Reflection transforms these lessons into strength, because now you can see that everything that happened was not working against you. It was working for you. It was preparing you for who you needed to become. Self-reflection also builds emotional maturity. It helps you recognize how your emotions influence your choices. It teaches you to respond instead of react. It turns chaos into clarity and confusion into focus. When you look within without fear, you begin to understand that change is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you truly are before the world told you to be something else. Reflection deepens your connection with your purpose. It shows you what drives you, what drains you, what inspires you, and what no longer serves your growth. And in that understanding, you begin to let go of what no longer belongs to your journey. You begin to forgive yourself for the mistakes you made when you did not know better. You begin to reclaim the energy that pain once stole from you. Self-reflection is not a one-time act. It is a lifelong practice. It is the habit of looking inward every time the world outside becomes too loud. It is the discipline of asking, what did I learn today? What can I do better tomorrow? It is through this process that growth becomes continuous and transformation becomes natural, Because when you know yourself deeply, no setback can shake your foundation. You become centered, focused, and grounded. Reflection gives meaning to persistence. It gives depth to faith and direction to imagination. It connects every experience you have ever had and weaves them into a story of evolution, a story that keeps unfolding with every choice you make and every lesson you learn. The 10th key is transformation through gratitude, because gratitude is the highest vibration of human consciousness. It is the bridge that connects pain to peace and struggle to strength. Napoleon Hill understood that a grateful heart magnetizes success because it changes how you see the world. When you learn to give thanks, even for the pain, you unlock a power that nothing can take away. Gratitude does not mean ignoring your suffering. It means seeing beyond it. It means recognizing that every challenge, every loss, every disappointment carries within it a hidden blessing. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, from what is broken to what is still standing, and in that shift, everything begins to change. The mind calms, the heart softens, and the soul finds balance when you wake up and choose to be grateful for the small things, the sunlight, the breath in your lungs, the chance to begin again. You start training your mind to see abundance instead of lack. Pain tries to convince you that life has taken everything away from you, but gratitude reminds you that you still have the power to create again. Napoleon Hill often spoke about the law of vibration, the idea that whatever emotion you hold within you attracts more of the same, and gratitude is the emotion that attracts miracles because it aligns you with joy, love, and opportunity. Gratitude transforms pain into perspective. It allows you to look at your past not with regret, but with understanding, because now you can see that every experience shaped your growth. Every delay redirected your path, and every heartbreak expanded your capacity to love. Without gratitude, pain becomes heavy. It turns into resentment, and resentment blocks progress. But when you practice gratitude, you release that weight. You stop asking, "Why did this happen?" and start saying, "Thank you for what this taught me." And in that simple shift, you begin to heal. You begin to see that the storm was never there to destroy you. It was there to cleanse you, to prepare you for the new version of yourself that could only emerge after the rain. Gratitude gives strength to persistence because it reminds you that progress exists even in small steps. It gives energy to faith because it helps you trust the unseen. It gives clarity to imagination because it teaches you to see beauty in the ordinary. When you are grateful, you begin to live in harmony with the flow of life. Instead of fighting it, you start to understand that every season has a purpose, and even the hardest winters carry the seeds of spring. Gratitude turns your focus inward. It makes you aware of the gifts you already possess: your courage, your resilience, your wisdom. It teaches you that abundance is not about what you own, it is about what you notice when you live with gratitude. Every challenge becomes lighter because you are no longer driven by fear. You are guided by appreciation, and appreciation is powerful. It expands what you value. It multiplies what you acknowledge. It transforms scarcity into sufficiency. Gratitude also awakens compassion. It allows you to see the pain of others with empathy because you remember your own. It connects you to humanity. It makes you humble and open to grace. Gratitude is the language of the heart. It does not need words. It is felt through presence, through awareness, through love. When you choose to be grateful for the pain you once cursed, you take back your power because now the pain no longer controls you, it serves you. It becomes a tool for your evolution and a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is still something to be thankful for. There is still life, still breath, still hope, and that is where transformation truly begins.